What's up, YouTube? What's up, chat? You guys are beautiful. Nice to see all you guys today. I wanted to make a quick little video, let you guys know what to do in the jungle. What is the difference in the starters right now? Unfortunately, there's not a lot to talk about here, but we're gonna go into it, and we're gonna do a little training and show you guys the big difference between the two starters that are really important. The third one is such a niche, probably should be taken out of the game if you ask me. So let's take a Willix, which is a very high contested, where the builds are really contested, and whether you go Bumba'S or whether you go right? So here we go. I'm gonna give you guys some in-depth thinking behind what you should be doing and what you shouldn't, how to think about items.
No matter how dark this world may become,
Right, so here we go. We're level 1. Let's act like we're gonna get blink, and then now you go to the starter item, right? You're a jungler. You ask yourself, okay, do I want Bumba'S to the late game or do I want the early game pressure? Those are the two things you have to think about. Do you want a late game spike? That's probably one of the best late game spikes in the game, which is Bumba'S. Or do you want an early game, early game spike? So let's compare these two. Bumba'S gives you 50 health, 50 mana. No other stats other than 50 health, 50 mana for 600 gold. All you do is you do plus 20 damage extra on autos and plus 30 damage versus jungle monsters. So this is pretty much the same thing. Outside of you don't have the plus 20 damage on every auto. But for an extra 50 gold, you get 10 physics power, 10 attack speed, 10 HP 5, plus you get 15 HP 5 and 10 MP 5 when you're in the jungle. I know I made it obvious that Eye of the Jungle is just infinitely better. But now let's look at the upgrades, right? Where you get Protected the Jungle, 55 physical power. That's a lot of power. 35 physical protection. That's really good prots. 25% attack speed. And when you're in the jungle, you gain 12% power and 12% protections. That is really good. Very, very good. And now probably the best item in the game. Bumba'S Hammer. 300 health, 200 mana, 10% pen, 20% CD. After casting an ability, your next basic attack deals an extra 80 true damage, and after hitting a basic attack empowered by Bumba'S Hammers, activates your cooldowns and reduced by 1 second, and you're healed for 5% of your maximum health. Okay, so you're a jungler. Why do you pick a Willix? Now let's go on the thought process behind what you should be picking, right? This is a late game spike. This is a late game spike. This is an early game spike. When you pick a Willix, what do you pick a Willix for? An early game spike or a late game spike? Usually early game. Early mid game is a Willix strongest part of the game. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. A Willix falls off late. Why? Her ult revolves around 1 beads. 1 beads that's a big problem. So her late game does fall off, but with Bumba'S it stays at least relevant, right? So the question is, do you sacrifice your early game as a Willix going Bumba'S Dagger, and sacrifice not going cooldown early because you have 20% on this and you don't want to overcap? So what are you gonna go? Hydras probably. You go Crusher Hydras, sack a lot of CD, which usually when you pick a Willix you want to ult off CD. Correct? Why? Because beats counters it. So if they ult, if you ult them, they beats it, you can grab them within the next CD of their beats. So if you go Bumba'S, correct? Bumba'S Dagger, you're only want to build 20% until level 20. This is late game. So you're not gonna have 40% CD for a very long time. Meaning you're sacrificing a big part of your early mid game, which is where a Willix is strongest. So that's why I tell my viewers and my YouTube, this is why you should go. This is why you see me go Eye of the Jungle and a Willix, because it keeps her early pressure even her early pressure is twice as good with Eye of the Jungle. It's very stacked. I mean, if you look at the both starters, it's obvious which one is better, right? Bumba'S is literally useless early, while Eye of the Jungle is ridiculous. So it speeds up your early game. And not only is it speed up your early game, but it allows you to go 40% CD within your first 3 items, which means now you are super fast paced, which is where a Willix is the strongest. And that's where you want to bring your team over the top with a Willix. You want to gank all the lanes. If you go Bumba'S hammer, I'm sorry, Bumba'S dagger, your ganks are really slow because you can't farm as fast. On top of that, you're gonna have higher CD. I mean lower CD, right? Because you can only build 20%, and once you build 20%, that's it. You don't want to overcap. And then, so it kind of defeats the purpose of what a Willix is. Obviously, this changes throughout gods. Now let's change up. Let's change up and go on Naja, another character that I really like. Even you can manage mana really well with the new Bumba'S update. All right, now let's go to Naja and I try to explain the same thing.
I am ready.
All right, here we go. So Naja is another one where Bumba'S is amazing. Bumba'S on paper is probably the best item ever. But what is Naja super good at? Pressuring the map with coin toss, sash, and ult. So you ask me, look at this build and tell me the big difference.
Should be interesting.
So let's activate go Eye of the Jungle, right? By the way, rest in peace, Mannequin. The shittiest item ever. It needs to be deleted, reworked, or changed. I would just say delete this item. There's no reason to have this item. Nobody wants to use this item. This item makes no sense. But, you know, whatever. I'm not high risk, so let them do whatever. Here we go. So we're going boots. Now tell me if you like this build better, right? Joins. What the hell's Ansile? Ansile. We'll just say Relic Dagger so you can blink more off CD. This build, right? You are constantly... Let's level up a couple times here. Alright. This is a very fast-paced build, right? You are constantly running at them. What is Naja good at? Is Naja a late-game carry? No, she is not... I mean, sorry. He is not a hyper carry. He will never be a hyper carry. But what if you build crit? So you're basing your RNG crit to auto once, crit someone, and then die because you're full damage of your crit. So you can auto twice, and then you're going to fall over, right? Because Naja, you have to be on top of them, correct? Like... So this build is very fast paced. You're running at them always. You're making space for your team to get to late game. And then in the late game, you start really turning up with them ults because you have 40% CD. And look how fast I have 40% CD while it's still a very efficient build. I have 110 power. I have 150 power plus magical pros plus 1200 HP. Well, we'll just say we'll actually be a bit higher by the time we get all these items. 4 items in, you're about like level... We're about like level, say, let's say for like 415. So we're really at 1800 HP. So this is a very fast-paced build. Now let's change the build so you guys can see. Right? Now let's change the builds. Let me go Bumba'S. So you guys can have an understanding of what's really going on here. Alright, right? This is a very similar build. Problem is you have 20% CD. What is Naja as a character? Naja as a character is pulling beads and capitalizing. What is a Willix as a character? Pulling beads and capitalizing. What is Bumba'S as a character? Pulling beads and capitalizing. It's way harder to do that if you do Bumba'S dagger and don't get your 20%, 40% CD until level 20, and that's a big problem. So this is a different build. This build is not bad at all, right? It's just a bit slower. And for the way I like to pace the game for these type of gods that are pace setters, I would rather have the 40% CD faster. Look, I have to build this item, and we build another item. I just say sledge for just meme purposes, and you still don't have 40% CD. And having 40% CD, if you understand anything about MOBAs, you guys understand that CD is probably one of the best stats in the game. Why not get 40% and sell joins for beat stick or sell something else late game? So you do get, but the problem is you're not understanding is that you're getting 40% at level 20. Like, that is so, like, by then, do you need the CD? Are you even playing beads at that point? No, because you're just grouping at fire over and over and over, and you're not really playing beads timers. You're playing beads timers when you're trying the early mid game, when you're playing for gold fear, when you're invading red buffs, when you're playing for tier 1s, when you're invading blue buffs. That's when you're constantly pressuring. So, I mean, there's two ways to think about it, right? Because you could definitely do this build, right? And now you go into Bumba'S. Let me get myself to level 20 so you can see the full build. Now I have Bumba'S. Now this build is really strong. But how much did you sacrifice to get to this build? And now you're really, really strong. I don't disagree. But now, how much did you sacrifice? A lot of farm speed, because Bumba'S 1 is really slow farm. And you lack 20% CD. So lacking 20% CD means, think about it, going from camp to camp means you lack the CDs to clear. On top of that, you lack, like, CD equals farm faster, play more aggressive, allow more cycles of your kit, right? If you don't have Bumba'S, right, you just have Bumba'S 1 until level 20. There's no point of power farming anymore. You're level 20 already. The extra 40%, 20% CD that you could have used to power farm back camps, to right lane, to invading their back camps, you can't no longer do that. It doesn't even matter anymore. So that is the big difference between Bumba'S. And now there is characters that I do appreciate Bumba'S a lot more, and I do play for the late game. Now let's think about some of those characters that I would. I would like to see the Godless, but for example, I'm sure you guys have seen Chronos. I think right now, building in the jungle, if you're going to build Bumba'S Dagger, you have to play a slower pace. You play a different pace now. You play a pace where you farm more than you gank. Which characters can do that? Does it feel good to farm more than you gank on a Willix? No. Does it feel good to farm more than gank with Osiris, Najah? No. Your job in the game is to gank, is to make space. If you're sitting in your jungle farming, you're going to get out jungled. Because the other jungler is going to come and do more. On AO, I still go I. I like I better. Because the early game, and it also sets you up for an attack speed build, which is very hard to counter on AO. Because not only do you do objectives well now, not only do you do towers well now, not only do you burn through their tanks well now, AO is a niche character, but that is something to think about as well. Athena is a character that I would go Bumba'S on. Why? Because Bumba'S even amplifies her kit even better, obviously with the passive. So I don't mind playing a little bit slower. Like, Athena doesn't need the crazy 40% CD right off the bat. I don't mind getting Wing Blade and getting, tank items to set me up for that 40% CD at the end with Bumba'S. So Athena's one that I wait for Bumba'S. I do play for Bumba'S. You've seen me in my Athena videos. I've done it in mid. I've done it in other lanes. I play a little bit slower, and Athena can power farm really well. Why does she power farm really well? Because she has a global. So you can farm, and you don't have to be rotating across the map. And you could just ult over, then go back to farming. Then ult over, then go back to farming. And just play your CD timer. And you will be level 20 much faster than other people. So that's something to think about. So it's really just play style, right? It's really play style. Of course, Bumba'S is ridiculous with a Willix. Ridiculous item. You can flip 2 or 3 times. You have immunity frames almost at all times with your jump, your 3 and your 2. I agree. But how much are you sacrificing your early mid game and not pulling people because you didn't have 40% CD and not pressuring the map, and now you're behind. And now you're behind with a Willix just to get to Bumba'S. Where Bumba'S just makes you a relevant jungler in the late game. It doesn't make you an insane jungler. You're not, you're not a Kali, you're nothing, and you're not a Mercury. You're just a Willix. So those are things you have to think about. I'm really just trying to open your brain and allow you to think deeper into your builds and not just pick Bumba'S because Bumba'S is broken. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop comments and something else that you would like to enjoy. I just really, on this video, just tried explaining to you guys the big difference between Bumba'S right now and I, because a lot of people really ask, yo, why are you going I? Because I go I on most characters. Understanding my role in jungle is to pressure the map and make space for my team to farm and create a lead. because that is the role in Smite. You know, with different MOBAs, the MOBAs change. I think League of Legends is very similar, but yeah, so jungle is the pace setter in this game, and with being the pace setter, slowing down your cooldown, which allows you to gank more efficiently, is, I don't agree with that. And not only does it slow down your cooldown, right? Because if you go Bumba'S, you can't go 40% CD, correct? But not only that, with you have 25 HP 5 in the jungle. Yes, I understand with Bumba'S you clear and you get the health back according to the minions that you killed. But 25 HP, attack speed, power, and mana regen now that they added to it, which I thought was the only problem that it lacked. But once they buffed that, now it's the best starter almost every time. The only time that I would suggest going Bumba'S is if you're willing to sacrifice your early mid game. You know, you could just play really slow, farm your jungle until level 20, and then start really making insane plays. You could, but I promise you, if I'm juggling versus you and you do that, I'm gonna be all over the map, and you're not gonna have a chance, and your team's gonna bitch at you. That's for sure. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be trying to drop more videos like this. I did the starter mid one. I'm doing the starter with jungle one. Enjoy, my friends. Is Bumba'S plus tier 2 boots really valuable? It is valuable. It's definitely the best start. I've said that since the beginning of the game. What up, Draymond? What up, Pablo? What about Suki? Suki, I would play probably for Bumba'S. Or depending on my team comp. I could play and play really fast pace, but I think Bumba'S just allows him to be an insane late game jungler. Yo, keep it G. Thanks for the big 15 months. Yo, Woodfrog with a big 10 months. I mean, 8 months. Means a lot. Zoom TV, Bodino, GF, Romeo. Thanks for the follows. Susano, probably Bumba'S. Because he's something else you have to think about, right? When it comes to gods. I mean, I guess we could extend the video just a little bit. We could extend the video. No, I never use mannequin. So, there is other junglers, right? Like Janice. I jungle with Janice. I jungle sometimes with Hebo. I jungle sometimes with Chang'e. I jungle with a lot of different characters. I mean, I'm sure you guys see me do it with Agni. And when I do so, I like to do Bumba'S because I don't need the attack speed, and nor do I need the upgrade of the attack speed. So characters that don't need attack speed in the jungle, yeah, definitely don't get Bumba'S. It's garbage. So Serket yes, I think Serket needs because with Bumba'S, you're such a slow-paced jungler. And Serket, you don't want to sit there autoing the camp forever in the early mid-game. Feels really slow. And I'd rather have 40% CD with Serket immediately. Another big thing to think about. Does Bumba'S procs on any type of autos? Quang, I go I. Emir, I would go definitely I. You know, Band-Aid, appreciate you enjoying it. I don't understand the 25 HP from I. What do you mean by you don't understand? You don't understand why they implemented it, or you don't understand how it has that? Do you ever go Bumba'S Spears? I do go Bumba'S Spear. Oh, Spear? No, yeah, right. I think that's the problem with high res and their items. Like they make it where one is so bad and one is so good that there's just no competition in items. How do I get the HP? You just have to be in the jungle. It has 10 HP 5 already in the item, which you don't need to be in the jungle. To get the extra 15 HP 5, you must be in the jungle. On Kali, I would definitely go I. Especially because their kit is pretty garbage. Hola Itachi, sí, habla español. Thank you Itachi, appreciate it. That's 2 Itachis.